Hey, this is Overpass Insights. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to talk about how if you're going to be into software development or really anything professionally, you need to be the kind of person who's into learning. All right, so today my voice is almost completely gone. I have been shouting and screaming all weekend. My road rage is getting crazy. I might need to see somebody about this. No, I'm just kidding. This weekend I went to a Tony Robbins seminar, Unleash the Power Within, which is like a four-day event, which goes from like 9 o'clock in the morning to like midnight for for 4 days. You do this fire walk on the first day where you walk across the hot coals and everything like that. I did it like 6 years ago. When I did it like 6 years ago, I was a bit skeptical about it, thinking, maybe I'm a bit crazy spending this kind of money on this thing. And I just enjoyed it so much 6 years ago. I found it very useful for me just in terms of motivation and just getting things done and getting back on focus and stuff like that. That this time I thought I would go. I did it again and I really enjoyed it. I'm really glad I did it. Trying to get out of this funk I've been in the last few months. And so one of the things that I noticed when I was getting ready for it is like I kept trying to get somebody else to go do it with me. I kept asking people, hey, you want to go do this thing with me? And I kept getting a lot of like, what is it? Like, why would I do that? Why would I want to do that? I'm like, well, it's like a self-improvement thing. It's like, it's really, useful and all this stuff. And I got the same kind of thing again and again. It's like, well, why would I, it sounds like a cult. Sounds like, that sounds a bit cringe. And to be honest with you, if you've ever done it, you know that there's parts of it which are a bit cringe. You're high-fiving people, you're hugging people, and it takes a while just to leave your cynicism at the door and to actually just give into it. And because, I remember the first time through was that first day of just being like, no, this is a bit over the top. I think I'm turning into an English person. This is a bit over the top. And then finally just giving into it and just really enjoying myself. So I've been telling people about it and they're like, no, I don't think I want to do that. Afterwards I told somebody like, well, we did this fire walk on the first night, and she goes, I don't think I would like that. I said, it's like a challenge. It wasn't something you like. It's not, nobody went up there and go, ooh, this is nice, but it's like a challenge. But one of the things I started to realize is, at the event and stuff like that, is when we talk about self-improvement and just getting better professionally or personally or whatever, a lot of people turn their nose up at it because they think if you're trying to improve, there must be something wrong with you. I noticed this because I read so much stuff. I read books about, well, obviously computer books, but I think it astounded me. Like it started about the age of 25, and it was really age 30 where I started reading self-improvement stuff. So age 25, when I started to realize, when I got a software development job and I had no qualifications for it, I realized I could pick up a book, and if I struggled through it, like just go through, even though it's way over my head, if I could struggle through it, I could become reasonably proficient at a software language. I wouldn't be excellent, but then you go and you can actually get a job, you can work with peers, and you can do all that kind of stuff, and that's something throughout the years. And if you're in software development and you don't have that kind of mentality where you're like, I need to learn the next thing, your shelf life is going to be not very long. So over the years, I started off with Visual Basic 5. No one's hiring me for Visual Basic 5 work these days. It's always been something else, moving on to the next thing, and it's usually been myself who's been guiding that, not I fell into a job where I learned this other language, all this kind of stuff. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this because it's something that I noticed at the seminar. Like when you go to the seminar, you're thinking, I'm a bit introverted. I don't talk to people. I'm not, I'm just kind of stay to myself. But you start to realize that you go into a place like that where everybody's kind of into it. Everybody there is about improving themselves or learning new skills or whatever like that. It's a bit, if you've ever gone to a software conference, if you go to they used to have stuff at Microsoft here, or you go there and everybody there is, they want to get better at professionally or personally, or they want to get better at their jobs or whatever. Now, there's been times, throughout my life where I've been what it reminds me of, like when you go into people like-minded, if you've ever run a marathon or a half marathon or even a 10K, you do all this training, and then I'm always surrounded by people who say like, I don't know how you could do that. Why would you want to ruin a perfectly good day by going for a run? Why would you want to do that? I don't know how you could do that. I don't know how you could do that. And it's like, part of it makes you feel good about yourself because you're like, yeah, I'm so awesome, whatever. But then in the end, you're like, it gets you down a little bit. And then it's that morning of the race where everybody there is just like you. I mean, sometimes they're like way fitter than you or way healthier than you, whatever, but everybody's there. They get it. They're like, they love to pin the numbers to their chest. They're like, they're not thinking this is going to be a walk in the park. They're like, okay, but they're ready to accept that challenge. They're ready to get to the other side of that finish line. And it's like, it's nice to be around those kind of people. Throughout the years, I've almost apologized for like reading certain things or doing certain things or going certain places. And it's been kind of a weird thing. I used to have, when I was a software developer in Canary Wharf, I've been doing it for like 10 years, I think at this time. And I remember like getting a book from the library, because it was, there was a library nearby, on advanced C#, right? And it was big. And I was like, back when computer books, you get them as, like as a physical book. One of those things, I don't think software books are good in Kindle, but the PDFs are okay. But I just appreciate having like a good solid book. And I would carry that thing to and from work because I'd read it on the train, right? And I would just like go through those, and it was dry and it was boring and it was all this stuff. And I remember somebody saying, first of all, most people say, I don't know how you could read that. It's dry, it's boring, it's whatever. And you're like, yeah, it is dry, it's boring. You know what's better than a C# book? Almost anything else. Watching Yellowstone is so much better. Like I would rather be sitting here watching Yellowstone than reading this book. But at the same time, the weights at the gym, those are heavy too. Like it's like, I don't read it because it's fun. I read it because it makes me better professionally. And one guy even said, aren't you afraid if the people here see you reading that book, they're gonna think you're already supposed to know C#? And I'm like, that's stupid. Like I'm always, you're always getting better. Like if I saw a doctor reading a medical journal, I'd be like, he's supposed to already know this, isn't he? Maybe if he was reading like Anatomy for Dummies or something, I might be a bit concerned. But no, I think professionally, as professionals, we always need to be improving our skills and reading stuff. And a lot of times that means putting things down, which are, way better for you. Like eating good food. Again, I'm talking like, this is one of those do as I say, don't do as I do. But like, that there's the right foods to eat and there's the foods that you like. And if we always did the things that we like, then we end up in that state where we're like, we don't grow and we don't improve. Throughout my life, I always think about these different stages. I was in the Army, I was a linguist, and then I was going to be a teacher, so I was doing the history degree and doing the substitute teaching, and I came out here and I started doing software development, and then I want to do Overpass, do my own stuff, and then I want to do YouTube videos, and then I want to do the stand-up stuff, and then it's always like, what do I want to do next that will challenge me? And it's every single time it's scary, and every single time I think I'm in over my head, and every time but throughout the years I started to realize, if I could just get through that initial bit where it's hard, where it's intimidating, then it gets easier over time. It's like pushing that boulder. And after a while you start to realize how rare that is, right? It's not, and you get around other people who do that, it's great. One of the things I love about this channel is that nobody's watching this channel because it's fun. I mean, I would hope it's a little bit fun, but mainly it's because they want to learn about software. I want to learn stuff, some of my experience, and also like the nice thing about the Discord channels, everyone's sharing their experiences with code and with software and everything like that. When I did my first app, I was the only person I know who was doing an app. I was working at a software consultancy, so I knew a few people who were like developers, but they knew nothing about apps. They knew nothing about the marketing of the apps, whatever. And everybody was giving me advice on stuff. You know what? You should do this. You should do this. You should do this. We're like, yeah, but it was like, it was hard putting that app out there and then trying to think afterwards, how do I get it marketed, whatever. And it wasn't until I joined a mastermind group. It wasn't one of these stupid paid mastermind groups. It was just like a group of people that were doing it. Like somebody reached out to me, and then we kind of had this little group to talk about that, which is great about the Discord channel. People are able to talk about this software development thing. Right now I'm doing the stand-up comedy course, which I did I started it several months ago. And I tell you what, there's times where I'm just thinking, this is too hard, I'm gonna quit. There's nothing worse than you go up there and you tell a joke and it's like just silence. Or worse than silence and a look of concern in the audience. And you're like, yeah, that didn't work. But then then you keep working at it. And then the next week you go up there and you're like, and you get some laughs and you do this. And then my big thing with stand-up, my big thing is my setups are too long and I'm too rambly. Me ramble. Like I do on this channel. So, I start to tighten it up and all this stuff. And then week after week, get better and better. And then but that urge to quit was really strong, early on. And even now, sometimes that voice will get into my head. I think what the main thing I wanted to say, this is what I'm going to call the channel, the video, although I'm sure I talked about this many times. It's really important if you want to be good at what you do, especially if it's in software, is to always be learning and to always be improving. The big question I get on this channel is it worth learning Android? Is it worth learning Kotlin in 2023? Is it worth learning this? It's like, and I'm always thinking, you're gonna be learning something. If it's like, I'm gonna learn Android, you should be not thinking about like whether or not you should put the time into it. It's like, if you're not gonna put the time into learning that, what else are you gonna put the time into learning? So I think learning one computer language, it helps you with all kinds of other computer languages because of the concepts, the operators and the variable types and the data types and all that kind of stuff and the functions and the methods and and all that kind of stuff is really, really beneficial and it crosses across all kinds of languages. So, but it's just that thing. It's like you should be investing in learning something, and and the more varied that learning could be, the better. One of the big, again, I know I'm talking too long. One of the big things about ChatGPT is we're falling to that thought that, well, ChatGPT, AI is going to do everything for us. But if you started using, I've been using AI a lot for software development, and I can't believe how often it's wrong. How often I, as a professional software developer, have to step in and take, nope, that's wrong. Nope, that's wrong. That won't compile. No, that won't do it. And then just basically do it myself because I still, value those skills. Anyway, I want to thank all of you guys who joined this channel, and because I always think, like, for anybody who's watching this, like, you're my kind of person. Like, you read stuff, you do stuff, you're always into learning new things. And every so often I'll get somebody who says, I have this great app idea, and they see that easy route to it, and it's not an easy route, And then one more thing I want to say, because every time I talk about learning and how it's important to be learning all the time, somebody would talk about age. Well, over time, as you get older, your mind doesn't learn things as easily, so blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking like, dude, in 6 days, I'm going to turn 51 years old, right? And I don't feel like I'm mentally slowing down at all. If anything, I feel like, everything is building up, this snowballing into this thing where I could, I'm better as a software developer. I'm better as a human being because of all the books, the learning, the experiences, the trials, the skinned knees, the skinned elbows, and going forward. So how's that for a long rambling video for those of you guys who stuck with me? Hey, if you stuck with me to this point, please give a like. I hope you guys are doing healthy. I hope you're doing safe. Sorry if I sound sanctimonious. I think I'm in seminar mode. I just got back from the seminar. Maybe that's why that is. But let me know if you agree or disagree with me. Also, let me know what you've been reading lately. I've been reading Jay Shetty's Think Like a Monk this weekend. It's good. It's pretty good. Let me know what you've been reading. Anyway, that is it for today. Hey, man, sorry it's been so long. I will talk to you again next time.